skill and technique, your aha moments that you'll pick up and you'll say, I know when I do my next Annique presentation, that's what's really going to work for me. So in order to help you understand how peak you can be, despite what your background is, I need to share with you that I didn't arrive as a paid speaker by an easy journey. I do, fortunately, get paid some good money for speaking. But I tell you what, I had to learn the lessons to get there. Because nobody is born a speaker. It is something like everything else in life that you have to learn. It's not something you want to be perfect at, because the moment you see somebody perfect at something, you think, I'll never be able to achieve that. It's more about being natural, by letting your personality come out, just as we saw. And when we play back, I promise you, you're going to see yourself in a far better light than what it felt like. Why? Because it was the real you coming out. Yes, there were nerves, and yes, there were jitters, but all of that we can deal with. What is really important is that the real you comes out. But the real you also has the option and the opportunity to learn some skill and to learn some ability. Why do people not want to get up here and speak? Because more than anything else, they're afraid of that feeling of nervousness. Not of the feeling that you can't do it. You are afraid of the feeling of the nervousness, not your ability. And so we need to make that shift in our mind today. What you fear is the nerves, not the inability to do what it is that you want to do. I was reading something some months back about an astronaut who trained and was given a huge opportunity to go into a rocket, into space. But do you know that when he was told about the media attention that he would face when he got back to Earth, he actually opted out of the program? He was more fearful of public speaking than he was about getting into a rocket and going to outer space. Well, I would rather speak than go to a rocket, wouldn't you? So exactly as he had to go through a deep measure of training to become an astronaut, it's no different with presenting. There are definitely skills and techniques that you can learn which will help you combat the nerves. Because the more knowledge you have, and who said knowledge is power? The more knowledge you have, I just want to add something to that because that is a true statement. But applied knowledge is power. You see, we can have lots and lots and lots and lots of knowledge, but unless we apply it to our lives and we make it work for us, it's not going to give us success. So it's what you're going to do with the knowledge that you're going to get today, how you're going to apply it to your life that is going to help you reach the peak of every presentation you make. Whether it's a marketing presentation, whether it's a Secretary's Day presentation, whether it's a PR communications, whatever it is that you're doing, whether it's your next WOW meeting, you want to learn what those skills are and what techniques they are. And I promise you they are not rocket science. So I want to share some of them with you. Please write this down. Confidence is not a feeling. Confidence is not a feeling. Confidence is a decision you make. It is a decision you make. There are many, many, many times I do not feel confident. But I overcome that by making a decision to be confident. Because everything in life is an expression. It's an expression of an emotion. Here is where the power lies. The power lies in the fact that you choose the emotion. You choose whether you're going to be fearful. You choose whether you're going to be powerful. You choose whether you're going to be confident. It's not a feeling. Do you get out of bed every morning saying, whoopee, I'm going to work? No. But you choose your attitude with which to go to work. Why? Because you need to deliver. You need to give of your best. So it's a choice. Everything in life is a choice, and that is why until my dying day, and probably to eternity, I will say you win or you lose by the way that you choose. Because that is a fact of life. Ernest touched on my story. For many of you, you know that I only have a standard 6 education. Never had the opportunity to finish high school. Never had the opportunity to go into university. In my last year of high school, I was 13, in standard 6, grade 8. And I was asked to play the lead role in a theatre production called Pride and prejudice. And I just thought I had conquered the world getting this role. And I learned my lines, I studied, I got into the character. I was so excited about this role. And on the night, in the school, with these heavy red drapes and curtains in this very big public school, the curtains opened and I looked out over this audience and I saw 600 parents sitting in the audience. And all of a sudden, I didn't get stage fright. I got stage terror. Have you ever been so terrified that you can't even think straight? You can't even put a word out of your mouth, never mind a sentence together. And here is a key that I want to teach you today. What you focus on, you become. What you focus on, you become. What did I focus on in that moment in my life? I focused on terror. I focused on the feeling. I focused on being so afraid that I was like a lump of jelly. I could hear them whispering from the wings about what the opening line was. Remember, I learned my lines. I was prepared. But terror undid the day. I could not think. I could not feel. I was just in a state of terror. I tried this and I tried, and just nothing came out. And you know what happened? Those curtains closed because the show couldn't go on. Can you imagine the humiliation that comes along with that? Then they try to put it back together with somebody else doing it. It was a flaming disaster. I hung my head in shame, not for days, not for months, but for years. Do you know that I took a vow in my life? Because of that gross feeling of humiliation, and you know how cruel kids can be, I made a vow that I would never, ever, ever again in my life put myself in a situation where I had to stand and talk in front of people. What is the clue? The clue is this. Often what you're called to do, you'll be tested on. And secondly, how willing are you to walk the journey to take you to the place that you ought to be? You can only imagine the journey I had to go through to get out of that vow that I'd actually bound up my life with to doing what I'm doing today. I used to go out with friends and I would not say one word. To my friends I would. But to the moment we got into a group where I didn't know people, I would just absolutely clam up. I was always told I was too shy, I was too reserved, I was too withdrawn. And some people would even nudge my friends and say, you know, is there something wrong with her? Is she mute? Does she not speak? So it was one heck of a journey to get from here to learn the confidence, the lessons, the skills, the techniques, to have the determination, to make sure that nobody else was going to hold my life captive. Instead, I needed to make that journey up the summit to be able to do what it is that I'm called to do, like you are called to do. What is it that you need to do in your life? And what makes the world go round? Communication. So it's no surprise then that one of the biggest challenges that we'll have in our lives is on the subject of communications. Because if you can shut down communication, you can shut down life. If you can shut down communication, you can shut down projects. Because the whole world revolves around communication. The only thing we need to be responsible for is what is our level of communication and what is it that we're bringing across, and is it adding value to other people's lives? And that's really where I want to go with this. Because all of a sudden you'll get to a place where you realize it's actually not about you. It's not about your nerves, and it's not about your lack of confidence, and it's not about your lack of knowledge. It's actually about the people whose lives you want to touch. And isn't that what many of you said while you were standing here today? I want to make a difference to students' lives. I want to make a difference to children. I want to make a difference by my communication. I want to make a difference by the people that I interact with. Then all of a sudden we get the revelation that when we get into the summit, that, you know what, this is not about me. This is about the reason I am here. It's to shift other people's lives. It's about changing other people's lives. Therefore, my nerves don't count anymore. Because if I'm only focused on how nervous I am, I'm never going to be able to deliver what I need to deliver, whether it's to babies, to children, to adults, or to very old people. Doesn't matter. It's not about us. And so that is why I say, in this industry, I forever am thankful, and I'm standing on the shoulders of other people who believed enough in me to say, come on, girl, you've got to find your courage. Come on, girl, you've got to find that grit on the inside of you. Because you have got potential. And what does potential mean? And every single one of us have it. Potential is a power in reserve. It's that power that you haven't tapped into yet. It's that power that is waiting for you to give it permission to come out, so that you can summit that mountain. And so when that woman came alongside me and she said, you know what, I'm earning a 6-figure income, would you